Greetings and welcome to the introduction to astronomy. In this lecture, we are going to start a discussion of Muslim astronomy and something that will run over the next few months. And in it, I will talk about various astronomers of the Muslim world. So let's go ahead and get started. And what I'm going to do here is just kind of introduce what I'm going to be doing in this series. And it's going to cover the astronomers of the Muslim world. And the eras we're going to look at are starting around the 8th century and going through the 16th. So we'll cover kind of the golden age of astronomy in this part of the world. One of the big things that was done and that then came back is the translation of Ptolemy's Almagest into Arabic. Now here we have a Latin version of Ptolemy's Almagest, which was then translated back from the Arabic. So many of the works from the Greek astronomers that we looked at in the past were saved by astronomers in the Arab world. They translated them and then improved on their work. Now, some of the things that were done in the mathematical development by various astronomers that we will look at was really a big development in mathematics. The Greeks had used primarily just plane geometry, so working with geometry, and developed now were other things, including the development of algebra and ways to being able to solve different equations, and the use of spherical geometry, very useful when studying the sky. So using geometry and trigonometry of spheres really helped in terms of being better able to understand and to calculate motions. Now we can also look at the development of the scientific method, kind of a scientific reasoning. The Greeks did things more through a philosophical standpoint and did things through proofs. So you could make certain assumptions, as you would do in anything, and then you would find out what would be true based on those, and you could come to various logical conclusions. Now those conclusions sometimes turn out to be right and sometimes turn out to be wrong. So the development of the scientific method, a beginning of testing and observations, are an important part of this. And various instruments were developed, including large sextants that would be used to measure the positions of objects in the sky and being able to measure them more accurately than could be done previously. Large observatories were built, as we see in the image here, at least in a recreation of one of those observatories that was built to be able to study the stars and to be able to understand more about the universe. And in terms of observations, one of the things that they've been able to observe is to observe nearby galaxies. So galaxies could be seen even without the aid of the telescope. And these are some of the earliest studies of galaxies that could be seen at all. So over the next 6 months or so, I will be covering about one astronomer a week, going through and talking just very briefly about their accomplishments and what they contributed to our astronomical knowledge. So let's go ahead and finish up this with our summary. So some of what we've looked at today, we talked about how Muslim astronomy flourished during the Dark Ages. So Europe fell into the Dark Ages after the fall of the Roman Empire, but the astronomy continued on, and many works from the Greeks were saved by the Muslim astronomers who translated them into Arabic and then were then translated back into Latin during the Renaissance. We'll look at many developments that have improved our understanding of the universe and how it works. And this really became the basis for the scientific revival of the Renaissance later on. So that concludes this as our introduction to talking about some of the astronomers of the Muslim world. We'll be back again next week to talk about one of these astronomers. So until then, have a great day, everyone, and I will see you in class.